a very, very interesting conversation took place on Fox Sports Radio over the weekend. And it says, the title is Laker fans are happy LeBron is gone. And the title of the show is, was LeBron James' Lakers run disappointing? Rob G and Kelvin debate. So it's about a 25-minute segment. So I tune in and everybody's kind of weighing in. But then Rob G begins to break it down in a way that I've heard few break it down. The perspective of Laker fans and how they viewed LeBron and why they didn't accept him the way they did Kobe and other stars. Before we even get into his comments,
the post just laid out the exact reason why Lakers fans never fully accepted LeBron James like they cherished Kobe Bryant. The narrative around his time in Los Angeles is collapsing, and the unvarnished reality might make his fans uncomfortable. Do you think winning just one championship in a 5-year stretch is enough to be considered a true Lakers legend? Or did the franchise set its standards way higher? Let me know in the comments.
Let me make sure we're on the same page. If a Laker fan said, I'll be honest, I think the LeBron era was a little disappointing, I don't have a problem with that. I'm talking about the hate, the good riddance, never should have came. That's the stuff I'm talking about. If you just did an assessment and say I wanted more, I thought there was left more to be desired, I'm cool with that. But this, I was on the air the day he signed. We took calls the whole rest of the show, as you can imagine. It was a huge deal then. And 90% of the calls were, we don't even want him. Get out of here. I'm like, dude, who doesn't want the best player in whatever sport? So the Lions wouldn't want Patrick Mahomes. Your Vegas Raiders wouldn't want say he was to leave next year. You get what I mean? So I was blown away. Nobody wants the best player. That makes zero sense.
We need to talk about the absolute media meltdown happening right now, because the sports media machine simply cannot handle how Lakers fans are reacting to the end of an era. 4 years, national commentators tried to force-feed everyone a fairy tale narrative. They wanted fans to bow down, throw parades, and act like a single championship completely saved a historic franchise. But now that the dust is settling, the truth is coming out, and it is hitting his most loyal supporters. Like a ton of bricks.
And then the best player gets the championship. And again, I'm not saying it was perfect, but the get riddance, couldn't get out of here, never wanted you, should have never came. That's the part where I'm like, all right, that's too much extra sauce. That's all I'm saying.
I would agree with that part. But I guess what my overall arching point is, if the extremism, yes, I would agree with you. But the idea that LeBron somehow saved the Lakers is crazy to me. And the idea that the only reason why there are some segments, or not only reason, one reason why there are segments of Laker Nation that is happy to see him go is because of some affinity to Kobe, I think that is very overblown.
Over on Fox Sports Radio, host Rob G delivered a breakdown so clear and accurate that it completely shattered the fake headlines. He explained to a passionate caller precisely why the fan base in Los Angeles never embraced him the way they worshipped Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, or Shaquille O'Neal. The main issue with his fan base is that they tried to apply a small market mindset to a city that measures success strictly by banners and dynasties. In Cleveland, winning a single title made him a local deity forever because that franchise had never tasted ultimate success. When he brought a ring to Ohio, people were ready to build him a temple on the spot. But when you step into Los Angeles, the standard changes entirely. Los Angeles is not a place where fans get starstruck just because a famous athlete puts on the purple and gold uniform. This is a city that has seen Magic Johnson win 5 titles, Kobe Bryant win 5 titles, and Shaq pull off a dominant three-peat. Coming into that building and expecting people to throw a parade for one isolated championship in a 5-year stretch shows a complete misunderstanding of the culture.
I think what it is being in LA and being a Laker is different than almost every other team in the league this side of the Boston Celtics. When you are a Laker and you go down the pantheon of great Lakers, winning one is like the bare minimum. If you want to consider yourself a great player in Lakers history, then it starts at 3. Like, don't even get me started if we haven't gotten at least 3. Jerry West went to the finals 9 times. And if you say, where does Jerry West rank on the pantheon of Laker greats? He's like 7th. Because he only got the one.
Rob G made a brilliant comparison using the legendary Jerry West to illustrate this exact point. Jerry West is literally the silhouette of the NBA logo, an absolute giant in basketball history who went to 9 NBA finals and later built championship rosters as an executive. Yet, when die-hard Lakers fans discuss the top 5 all-time franchise figures, Jerry West often sits near the bottom of that elite group simply because he only won one ring as a player. Figure like Jerry. West gets held to that ridiculously high standard after dedicated decades to the organization. Why on earth would anyone expect fans to crown a guy who dropped by later in his career, won one title, and spent the rest of his tenure hovering around play-in tournament seeds? The audacity of the national media during this whole stretch was honestly staggering to watch. You had talking heads on television seriously arguing that he deserved a statue outside the arena for winning a single championship. Is the kind of participation trophy mentality that true sports fans naturally reject. In Los Angeles, getting one ring is considered the bare minimum just to get your foot in the door for a polite conversation. To even be mentioned alongside the true legends of that building, you need to win at least 3. You have to build a sustained run of dominance, not a series of early playoff exits interspersed with roster drama and coaching changes.
Anyone to come out and say that, well, hey, LeBron got you that one championship, he led you out of the dark ages, you guys owe him a big debt of gratitude. You can appreciate what he did while also being honest about the fact that he left a hell of a lot of meat on that bone. And this idea one last thing, that they were never going to crawl out of the hole that they were in is crazy because, as I mentioned, before LeBron got there, Paul George had already said he wanted to come. Kawhi Leonard had already said he wanted to come. I'm not saying they were going to get both. They were going to get either one of them, or there's going to be somebody else. But I can tell you is, when you are the Lakers, every couple of years, eventually, somebody is going to want to say, I want to play in LA. I want to be on national TV. I want the mystique of being a Laker. And when you get there, the expectation is championship. And there are some guys who want that challenge. Not everybody, but there are some.
The media keeps pushing this ridiculous narrative that he single-handedly rescued the franchise from eternal darkness, but that is complete fiction. Los Angeles is a premier destination in global sports. History proves that every few years, an elite superstar is going to look at the market, look at the weather, look at the history, and say they want to play for the Lakers. Before he ever signed that contract, elite players were already dropping heavy hints about wanting to play. In Southern California, the organization was always going to attract world-class talent because the brand itself is bigger than any single player. He did not save the franchise. He simply picked a glamorous spot that was already primed for a star to step in. When he arrived in town, his supporters expected the fan base to fall to their knees in gratitude. Much like driving a flashy luxury car around a small town where everyone stops to stare. But driving that same sports car into a neighborhood where everyone already has 3 higher-end models parked in their driveway gets a completely different reaction. People just look at it and say it is just another vehicle. That is precisely what happened in Los Angeles. The fans were not awestruck because they were already completely spoiled by genuine, long-lasting dominance. They wanted consistent substance, deep playoff runs, and relentless competitive drive. But his fan base just wanted everyone to be grateful for his presence.
It's a different conversation. And even to go across to Boston, you mentioned Jaylen Brown at the end of last hour about, hey, he's going to be welcome back in Boston. I'm sure he is, because they seem to like him for the most part, even maybe at the end of the Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
But Brad Stevens knows that we are not in the business in Boston of just being competitive. We are not the Cleveland Cavaliers where we don't mind maxing out Donovan Mitchell, knowing that there's a ceiling as to how high we can get. They are in the business of championships. And they determined that they cannot win a championship with Tatum and Brown taking up 70% of the cap. The Lakers are the same kind of situation. And
look beyond that lone championship season, and the Lakers' overall results were far more inconsistent. The team cycled through average finishes, play-in appearances, early playoff exits, and just one trip to the Western Conference Finals, where they were swept. In a franchise with championship expectations, many fans viewed that stretch as underwhelming, despite media outlets often portraying it as a golden era. The contrast with Kobe Bryant is rooted in commitment and identity. Kobe spent 20 years with one organization, battled through injuries, accepted responsibility during difficult seasons, and helped deliver 5 championships. His relationship with Lakers fans was built over decades of sacrifice, something many believe cannot be replicated through publicity or media narratives. Critics also argued that whenever the team struggled, attention often shifted toward the front office, coaches, or younger players instead of placing equal scrutiny on the franchise's biggest star. Lakers fans have traditionally admired leaders who embrace accountability and elevate the team through their performance rather than public messaging. Some analysts predicted the franchise would collapse after this era ended, but many supporters questioned that claim. pointing out that the team had already experienced years of inconsistency. As a result, many fans felt it was simply time for a fresh start instead of holding on to an era that no longer met the organization's historic standards. The debate also exposed a growing disconnect between national media and the Lakers fan base. While television personalities focused on star power and individual accolades, many fans continued judging success by championships, sustained excellence, defense, chemistry, and winning basketball. Their belief remained unchanged. No individual player is bigger than the franchise. Many supporters see Kobe Bryant as the benchmark because he earned respect through years of dedication, relentless competitiveness, and championship success. His legacy was built over 2 decades, establishing a standard that every future superstar would inevitably be measured against. Rob G's comments on Fox Sports Radio resonated because they reflected what many Lakers fans have been saying for years. He argued that the franchise's legacy is built on banners, loyalty, and sustained success, not media narratives or superstar branding. As the Lakers begin a new chapter centered on long-term team building, that message continues to resonate with much of the fan base. The discussion also raised broader questions about modern sports media. Critics believe major networks often emphasize individual stars because those personalities generate ratings and engagement. That approach can sometimes overshadow the bigger picture of team success and organizational standards. Many fans also believe Los Angeles is unlike most NBA markets. Having witnessed multiple championship dynasties led by Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, and Shaquille O'Neal, they naturally judge every era against an exceptionally high standard. One championship alone is respected, but it is rarely considered enough to define an all-time Lakers legacy. Ultimately, the debate comes down to legacy. Joining a historic franchise means adding a chapter to an already legendary story. To stand beside the greatest names in Lakers history, many believe the chapter must be defined by sustained excellence, multiple championships, leadership, and an enduring connection with the city. That is why discussions about this era remain so passionate, and why the conversation surrounding championship standards continues long after the final buzzer.